Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Shazage Plays. Today, we are going to be having a nice little discussion video with my buddy Lacoding. Go ahead and say hi, bud.
Hi, hello everyone.
So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be talking about some tips to help you climb ranked. So this is a lot of things that can help you just get to the highest rank and beyond. So we are both currently sitting decently high on the ladder. Coding grinds a hell of a lot more than me. You're sitting around 2K right now, I think, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
So I'm sitting around 17. But yeah, this man, he's on the grind daily basically, and I gotta have respect for that. So we're gonna take some of the things that we have decided that would be really good tips for all of you to help you grind them ranks and get up to our level and beyond, So go ahead and get us started with number one, Coding.
All right, for number one, we have play good characters. So, there's a variety amount of Pokemon in the game, Pokemon Unite, and some people have their favorite Pokemon, but the best way to climb rank is just playing the best character that can carry the most. And what we mean by carry is the person who has potential to potentially change output the most for the game. So anybody who can maybe score and take on multiple enemies at once. I kind of want to go over some Pokemon that would fit that criteria. We have many people: Lucario, Serena, any jungle role. If you play your jungle well, you have the most influence on the game. Honestly, there's some underrated strats in solo queue as well. If you're going to do this through solo queue, there's plenty of scoring Pokemon greeted. Even Crustle sometimes can help out, but mainly you're looking for those solo queue carries, we call them. So like any type of jungler are really broken in this game. So those are like some of the best characters you can play.
Absolutely. However, there is still something to be said about playing a strong team comp. If you see that your team is missing a tank, maybe pull out that Snorlax that you've been practicing, or you need a healer, try out Eldegoss. But for the most part, play strong characters. We also just most recently did a tier list. You can go check that out over on Lacoding's channel, and yeah, it was a pretty fun time. All right, so next up for number two, we have use good items. This is similarly controversial, possibly, because like a lot of people have different views on what good characters are good and also what good items are good. However, I will tell you, if you don't know what to put on a Pokemon, a build of Muscle Band, Focus Band, Buddy Barrier will literally work for every single character. If you want to explore more from that, we each have build ideas. If you see us streaming, ask us. We can tell you the best idea for that. I also have a few starter guides for Pokemon on my channel, and I do want to make more for characters that have already been out. However, there is items that are just straight up bad. Never use Floatstone, Leftovers, Assault Vest is kind of iffy as well, Shell Bell. These are just bad items, and most of them just have this really weird respawn timer. So you can definitely go check out some of our item tier lists. I believe both of us have item tier lists. They're a little outdated, but for the most part, they are still up to date.
Number three is fighting for a lane. Choosing the best lane to lane with. So most of the time, sometimes want to take the jungle from you, so you can call jungle first, and it's like, oh, I call jungle first, why are you going to jungle? Don't fight for that lane most of the time, because if you really want to have the best outcome for the game, for the actual game, the match you're having, is just being that team player. You want to be that team player. At least one of you is going to get fed early game and hopefully perform. Most of the time, if you can help and be at the objective Dreadnought, which we'll go over more, you'll be able to get a bunch of XP and just be able to catch up from that standpoint. Because there are many people in that solo queue experience, or any just randoms you may play with, that may fight for a lane, make some bad decisions when it comes to lane picking. Sometimes you just gotta flesh that out and just make the best decision for the team, saying that I want to win. Of course, I know how it could be frustrating. I know that Shadow, he plays a lot more solo queue than me, so he's the best person to ask about people overloading a lane, because there's many lanes. If in solo queue, at least it would be triple bottom. That means 3 people in the bottom lane and 1 person at the top. if possible, but I don't recommend it, at least in the solo queue experience. Anything to add for that, Shadow?
Yeah, definitely. If I don't care if you call jungle first, if that Absol is stuck on his jungle role, he's gonna be stubborn. Just give the baby his bottle, head to a lane, and just hope for the best that they know what they're doing. So that's all you can really do. So. All right, so number 4, we have know your timers and the importance of objectives. It may seem when you're starting out the game, everything kind of spawns randomly and stuff like that. Nothing is random in this game. Everything runs on a timer. Most farms, for one, respawn every minute, and always be early to those respawns. So the most important things is know your timers, and yes, everybody knows about Dreadnought and Rotom. They come online at 3 minutes, and Zapdos/Articuno, as it is now, comes online at 2 minutes. However, there are other timers. The most important one is the bees or bears. At 8:50, bees will spawn and then every other minute and a half after that. So 8:50, 7:20, 5:50, 4:20, and 2:50. These are all timers. They are a little bit wonky. It's not always exactly that for some reason, but for the most part, these timers are very important, and all that experience is really important for your team to get. So always be aware of those timers. Be aware if you are jungling, when your jungle farms are going to come back up. Be aware when all your farms going to come back up. And then at 3 minutes, always go to Dreadnought first. Dreadnought is the most important first objectives, and it has a 2-minute respawn time. So if you can knock that out with your whole team really fast, you can get multiple Dreadnoughts in a game, and you really want that because that's a lot of really good experience. Don't go top lane and just sit there all game. Go down to the bottom. Go help your team secure that first incredibly important objective. Get ahead, stay ahead. And then if you can get the Rotom, that's great too. Rotom, it's not as important as Dreadnought. Dreadnought has always been important despite the buffs. And then whenever that 2 minutes comes, you guys are going to be ahead. You're going to be ahead on points. You're going to be ahead on experience. And then you win that Zapdos fight for free. Don't start the Zapdos if you are in the lead. That just gives your opponents more of a time to come in and just be there. But the most important thing is go to that first dread, be early for objectives, know your timers. There are resources online. You can check out UniteDB. Their map section has resources for all the timers in the game. And that's pretty much about it. Like, this is probably one of the bigger ones that I have for you guys, is just know your timers, know when spawns come up, and be there at the objectives and be early.
Yep, going into number 5, we have know how last hitting works. And pretty much last hitting is what it sounds like. You take any objective, you take any farm, you last hit it. But some people actually might not know who start the game or like in the middle of the game. The person who last hits the farm is gonna first obtain the points amount from the farm and get a certain amount of XP from the farm, mainly majority of that XP from the farm. So you always want to be able to last hit. Sometimes in solo queue you have to play around, like you need an important level and your teammate doesn't. Sometimes you have to really like last hit from your teammates as well as the enemy. But last hit that farm, which is why jungler comes out at level 5 really strong, because there's no XP shared between another person. Also with last hitting, if 2 people hit the same farm, that XP will be split to a certain amount, but the person who last hit will get majority of that farm. So keep that in mind, that you don't get the full XP amount when you last hit, but you get majority of that amount. And this is just very important to always try to last hit from teammates or enemies when needed. Don't let that enemy get the farm. Time your abilities, save your abilities, be smart, be savvy with it. You can always use the bushes, bring the farm to bushes if possible, be savvy, and always try to last hit when you need it.
Also, be a good teammate. If you see that somebody needs to evolve and they need a little bit more experience to do that, let them take that last hit. You'll still get a little bit of experience, but you'll also be a great teammate and help them evolve. So, and for number 6, if you're not farming, you're throwing. That's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Don't just stand around. Like I said, everything has a respawn timer in this game. if you see a little yellow dot on your side of the map, you better be going to it, and you got to be getting it, because that just puts that thing back on a respawn timer, gives you experience, and that's just more experience for you. So there are some times where you want to be standing around waiting. If an objective is up, obviously you want to be there for the objective, but if there's nothing on the map that's important, you better be just knocking out those little yellow dots. And also, stick to your lane. If you're in the first 3 minutes of the game, there is plenty enough experience in that lane for you. Do not go to the jungler's jungle and take their farm. If anything is in that middle section before the first 3 minutes, leave it alone. You need your jungler to come out of the jungle at level 5 so he can make the biggest impact in lane possible. A lot of the junglers, they want to evolve. If a Froakie is coming into the lane at level 4 because somebody took his jungle core fish, he is basically useless. You want your jungler to be really just ready to fight and push you ahead. The first 3 minutes of the game, that position, never touch the middle. Get strong, win more. That's pretty much all there is to it, though.
Yep, I would agree. And going right into number 7, stay with the team and keep them alive. With this, you see a lot of teammates kind of overvaluing the tip we just gave the last one. Farming when there's a team fight or when the team's together, you always want to be, maybe before the objective starts, you always want to be with your teammates farming, unless you want to farm that important, level or that important unite move, which is justified. But when going in, you always want to stay with your team as much as possible and be as a unit and cohesive with each other, especially any support, any Blissey, Eldegoss, Mime. You always want to be with your team, helping and supporting your other carries and helping you guys get through the game. Because a lot of times I see people I play with, even in 5 stacks, they overvalue farming at times when you should be in an objective. You always want to value that objective and keeping your teammates alive, because if your teammates are dead, you can't win. You have no teammates, you can't win the game. It's a team game. At the end of the day, you can do the best you can to carry, but it's always a team game. Whoever scores the most points win. So you always want to be at that team fight. Of course, you get XP with that team fight. That team fight is very important to win, because that's going to decide many factors throughout the game.
Also, if you're running buddy barrier, keep that in mind. It's a buddy barrier. If you see somebody low and you have that up and you can save them with your buddy barrier, it's always good to do that. Even if you're at high health, save your teammates. Be a good teammate, keep them alive, because that means more damage and better chances for you to win that fight. Alright, for number 8, we have notifications and use your minimap. Now, there is no scoreboard in this game, but that doesn't mean that we're completely in the dark. At 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and 1 minute, you get a notification at each of these to tell you how far or ahead you are behind. I actually didn't know this for a very long time until I finally watched a video about it or looked it up. I don't remember exactly what I did. And I still even struggle sometimes memorizing exactly what these mean. But if you get the message, we're really struggling, that means that you are losing by 100 points or less. That is go time. You have to get to those objectives. You have to win that Zapdos, and you have to go get those big dunks. If we're struggling to keep up, that means you're losing by 30 to 99 points. That means that, you probably want to take your time at that Zapdos fight. Make sure that you win it. Don't automatically go for the flip, go for the burn. The fight is not that far out of your hands, and the game isn't that far out of your hands. If it's a close battle comes up, that means you are winning or losing by 0 to 29 points. This could mean a lot of things. And also, if you get that last minute close battle, do not pick up a ton of points. Those small scores that get doubled at the end of the game can flip the game on its head. Think about it. If you are going to dunk 15 points, that turns into 30. That turns a close battle into your winning guaranteed. That's just incredible. If we have a huge lead, or if we're in the lead, that's 30 to 99. Same kind of deal. You could probably wait out the fight a little bit more. You don't have to necessarily burn it immediately. And if you see we have a huge lead, that means you are big chillin'. All you have to do is wait, defend that Zapdos in the end game, and just keep go in, watch for back caps, all that fun stuff, and you are big and strong. So make sure you keep those notifications in mind. If you see at 1 minute that you guys have a huge lead, there's no reason to run across the map and try to dunk and probably die, and then give your opponents a chance to make a return comeback into your goal zones. So also make sure that you use your notifications. We have very limited communication in this game, but you can use that mini map. You can ping where you want to go. You can ping the gather here's, the retreats. Use the best communication options that you have. And also, always keep your eyes on that minimap. Your eyes should pretty much always be on that minimap as much as it is on the game. Just like you're driving, you want to look at your mirrors almost as much as you're looking at the road. And be sure to move that camera around. The field of view in this game, if you're playing on Switch especially, is not amazing. So if you can move that camera around, especially if you're playing a ranged character, that is really strong and gives you great notifications and mobility options, and just great view of what's actually happening in the fights.
I would also add to that, if you're in the lead, I don't recommend scoring at any time. Just in case that there's a team fight that's gonna happen in that middle area around Articuno, it's very important that you be there. So sometimes going the back cap is not the best time. There is a clever way that you can try to time your back cap. Perfectly, the first goals, I would not put it on the second goal because that's risking it. I'll have them walk all the way back, but just trying to back out maybe on that first goal and timing it correctly to get double points could be very huge for string in a game. So I just want to add to that. And going into number 9, don't forfeit. I thought we were going to lose, but we still get the Articuno fight. There's been many strong opponents that I've been able to win the game because of an Articuno fight. There's a reason why it's in the game. People think it's a nerf, but I always say people gotta learn how to play around these objectives. And of course, as you may not like when people get Articuno against you, you can also get it against somebody else and win the game as well. So Articuno has great comeback potential. Up to 500 points instant scored if you get it. So keep that in mind. And it's also during a very crucial point of the time in the game, which is double points. So it's very crucial that you always try to get to the objective. Don't give up. If possible, if they aren't over leveled, you may be down in points, but XP wise you're like maybe 1-2 levels behind. You can still win this fight. You can catch your teammates off guard. You can catch not teammates, the enemy off guard. You can always win and come back in the game. And sometimes, as your teammates might have bad games, you might have bad game as well, and you want to give up on them. You always want to be in that fight. Articuno is a great comeback, and you also feel amazing when you get the Articuno and win the game.
Yeah, nothing feels much better than just a nice Articuno snipe at the end to turn in the game all the way around. That's
Agreed.
very true. All right, and number 10, a lot of these things we've been talking about can be kind of tough in solo queue. So what do? You play with a friend. It's just like it sounds. Just get some friends together, get in a Discord call, and just play. Duos, trios, in my opinion, are like the best way to play this game. And they are a lot more consistent because you're cutting out a lot of random factors. There are plenty of Discords to join, including our own, if you want to, just get people together to play and just have some fun of all skill levels and of all ranks. So that's pretty much it. So want to give us one more bonus?
Yeah, so for the bonus, like Shadow said, take a break. Sometimes you just gotta take a break. Sometimes you get frustrated, tilted in the game, but just trying to force, I'm trying to get in the masters as quick as possible. Take your time. You don't have to really force that and stress yourself out. The best way to play the game is also to have the most fun with it. And hopefully with these tips, they help you take that weight off your shoulders of the solo queue stress and turn it into something fun. And with that, you can also take breaks and come right back to the game fresh and reloaded, focused.
Nobody plays good on tilt. Just have some fun with it. If you see that you're struggling a lot and you're losing a lot of games, put it down for a day, come back the next day, get your dailies, win. That's pretty much about it. But that's pretty much about it for our tips. This is not all encompassing. There are plenty more things that we can tell you, but if you are interested, just stop by one of our streams. We both stream somewhat consistently, me a little bit more on the weekends than the weekdays, but we are here, we're ready to play, we're occasionally up to play with viewers and just hang out and just have some fun with the game, because we both really love this game and we just want to see it succeed, and we want to see you guys succeed in playing. So anything else that you would like to say, Cody?
No, I think this was a great video. Thank you for having me, Shadow, and I hope the viewers that this tips help you out in winning games.
Absolutely. So until next time, that's gonna be it. Shadow Stitch and Coding out. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. I love you all. Deuces.
Peace.